Aye, aye, aye. But here we go. We're getting into our first quarterfinals match of the night, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Z Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. Go. To have our ZvP upon us, our first quarterfinals. And so far, drone's going to be moving out. Dark, of course, taking his third base as his natural, as SKillous was there to stop him. And everything is looking as it should. I say that, I bring this up because, hey, Dark, of course, is one of the best Zerg players in the world, and he's also very aggressive. I'm sure at some point in this series, proxy hatch. Dark, he loves going for a proxy hatch in ZvP. Whenever he does get a chance to whip that out, he will. For now, hatch gas pool. Standard opener. Standard opener, of course. Dark has been patiently waiting for either Trigger and SKillous, and he has been warmed up because he did take down Ashbringer earlier on in another ZvP. Dark, of course, hot off a win last night. For those of you that were here for it, you would know, but Dark did end up winning ESL Open Cup Asia merely, what, 12 hours ago? 10 hours ago? 10, yeah? Last night, essentially, which we did cast on this channel. Again, if you're interested, the VODs are available. It was a finals between Dark and Bjorn. Went all the way to the ace match. It was an amazing finals, and Dark did come out on top. But can he get a back-to-back win? Can he also get a win here in the Americas Open? We'll see. We'll see. There are plenty of powerful opponents looking to stand in his way. And until then, we are just in the midst of this PvZ. So far, nothing too crazy. It is going to be a Stargate opener here from SKillous. Everything is looking normal, and I'm excited. I don't get to. I wish I could cast more SKillous. He's a very unique player, and usually when SKillous does play out his series, he has his own kind of flair. He has his own style. He plays mainly standard, but he has his own kind of twist to things and his own flavor, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see what he brings to the table against Dark specifically. I feel like playing straight up against Dark is a difficult thing to do, so I wonder what kind of twists and turns SKillous is going to bring to the table. For now, First Adept is going to get across the map. Queen is in position, Lings as well. Natural base is safe for the time being, and SKillous is going to threaten his shade into the main. Of course, he is going to be denied. It is going to be forced to cancel. And so far, Dark is able to keep up. Now we're up to 2 Adepts. They can, of course, one-shot drones. They will be forced back as well. Don't quite commit. As we're going to be racing back home. And, yeah, just getting into our opener. First Oracle's moving out. We should be seeing a third base taken. And so far, standard opener here. Very economic from SKillous. As he looks to take a third, the Lings, they do arrive. Ooh. And they threaten the third base. At any moment, Dark, he's looking to dive on that probe. And he goes straight for the Adepts instead. Gets some decent service area. He comes in from behind as well. The first Adept is going to go down. A good pick off here from Dark. At the same time, here comes that Oracle, but there's nothing to kill. Not at that third base, or I guess now natural base. Goes straight for the main. Gets one drone. Lings are forced back, and SKillous can now establish his third base. We're getting into the swing of things here. Was delayed for a moment, but is still on the way. And at least SKillous does keep all of his Oracles alive as well, so he can still threaten the bases and still try to get some economic damage done. Dark behind this, rotating with his queens. He's got a queen in his main, he's got a spore as well. He's well set up for this. And we have our follow-up, and it is going to be a very tech-heavy follow-up. It is going to be a Forge and a Robo. For those wondering, this means we're going into +1. We're going to get into Immortals, potentially Disruptors and Colossus, and we are foregoing Blink. Blink and Charge are delayed. The Twilight Council is delayed, which means we're not going to be active. SKillous is not going to be active anytime soon. He's going to be turtling and teching on 3 bases and soon to be 4 bases. Meanwhile, he gets across the map. He does get 3 drones. 3 workers do go down. Not too bad here. The Oracles do survive. They take a lot of hits, but they do make it out. As Dark is going for his Roach Warren, just going to be focusing on droning up as well. Lair is on the way for Roach Speed. And Immortal production has commenced. The Twilight Council is on the way, but again, it is delayed. And because it's delayed, we're not going to be active. We shouldn't really be too active. Immortal production is commencing. SKillous taking his gases, throwing down the shield battery. Trying to fortify himself here back at home. Does get eyes on the would-be 4th, and he will force a cancel. Very nicely done. Does cancel that 4th. Behind this, we're just continuing to tech up. We have the Templar Archives on the way. Charge is on the way. Additional gateways as well. Now, I'm curious. I'm curious if we're looking to hit a timing with Charge, especially because we haven't thrown down a Robotic Spade. We're going for Immortals. Immortal production is underway. Meanwhile, because Dark recognizes how defensive SKillous has been thus far, and he's only been aggressive with Oracles, Infestation Pit. We're taking up to an Infestation Pit into a would-be Hive. We have +1 range on the way, which means Dark is working towards Lurkers. Again, really good read here from Dark. He recognizes that his opponent isn't being aggressive anytime soon, so we're just looking to tech up very heavily here into a Hive, into Hydra Lurker Viper. Now, what I will say is we have a Gateway Explosion. So, even though Dark is teching, there is a window where he's vulnerable. There's a window before he gets into Lurkers. He does spot the Immortals, and he does see the lack of 4th. But there's the 4th base now on the way. And Dark confirms that. He should confirm that. There we go. He does rotate up. He does see the hatchery. Sorry, he does see the Nexus. 4th is on the way. But Charge is about to kick in, and we are hitting a timing. With Charge and +1, more gateways are on the way. SKillous is pushing now. And Dark isn't ready for this. He's droning. Again, he's assuming my assumption earlier that we would be taking up into Disruptors and Colossus and saturating the 4th base. Whereas that is not what is happening. Lurker Den on the way. Again, Dark, he needs time. And SKillous isn't committing. Wait, didn't we make a War Prism? It's staying at home. War Prism is staying back at home. SKillous, he threatens a push, but he backs off. He doesn't commit. He's going for a big warping of Archons first. 2nd Robo's on the way. Oh, it means SKillous. Yep, he is teching. He is saturating that 4th. He isn't pushing, which means Dark is getting away with this Lurker Den. So with that, Dark is 1 step ahead. If SKillous were to move out, then Dark would be vulnerable. Even this push, like, could not just kill a base, but maybe get some economic damage done as well. But again, for the most part, SKillous, he's thinking further ahead. +2, 2nd Robo, Phoenixes, saturating the 4th. SKillous, he's dipping onto creep, but he's not committing. Which means Dark should be fine. And you can see here, we're threatening a drop into the natural. The Prism is gonna get shut down. Dark will hold the natural base. Again, SKillous isn't pushing. And Dark has gotten away with Hive Tech. Hive upgrades are on the way. Lurker Den is done. And against a ground army, Hydra Lurker Viper is king. And now the onus is on SKillous. Now the onus is on SKillous to recognize what's happening. He sees all the Hydras. He should realize that Lurkers are on the horizon. And we should be seeing Skytoss. We should be seeing a 2nd Stargate, a Fleet Beacon, and a Skytoss transition. But right now, we're still committed to a Ground Toss army. And this is going to be brutal. The Storm is still just now starting. Dark is getting into his final form. And we're moving out. We even have a couple of Dropper Lords. By a couple, I mean one. One Dropper Lord moving towards the natural. And here comes the main army. Now, there are no Vipers. We have access to Vipers, but we don't have any yet. Dark, he wants to trade first. I'm sure he wants to get rid of these Roaches for the time being and then refine his army. Immortals have been spotted. Phoenix goes down at the same time as Zalarambai does drag some of these forces back home. So far, SKillous, he does have a wall. Storm is almost done. Storm is almost complete. We're just getting into more of these lurkers. Zealot Rumbites are being shut down by the queens. Getting shut down. We're diving onto the lurkers. They're not done. The lurkers, they barely do not finish. They get caught out. Big storms here on the army. A good fight here for SKillous. A very good fight. He catches the lurkers completely exposed, and every single lurker is going to be going down. One lurker survives, not even one lurker. And that was a big loss for Dark. That was not the fight he wanted to take. Again, half of his lurkers were still morphing in, and he loses every single one of them. And now Dark is on the back foot. Dark, he's in a lot of trouble. An amazing, we gotta go. Yeah, we cannot wait at home. SKillous, we gotta push. We gotta send it, Papi. We gotta send it. Dark, what does he have at home to defend? He has Ling Hydra, no lurkers. Without lurkers, defending against this is gonna be so difficult. Everything was lining up for Dark. Everything was going Dark's way. And then he lost, I'm afraid to look, how many lurkers did he lose? 18! He lost 18 lurkers in one fight. In one wrong fight, one brutal fight. The Hydras, the High Templar. The High Templar go down, big storms on the Hydras, but every single High Templar, that was like what, 6 High Templar? Jesus. Dark, he's pulling this off. He shuts down the High Templar. There's still a lot of Immortals. Still so many Immortals behind this, but we're getting on top of the Archons at least. Another Archon goes down. Here come those Zealots. Brutal fight there for Dark. He needs to kite, he needs to back off. And Dark survives, and there we go. Lurkers are now in production. Dark, he was up against the wall. He was at death's door then and there. He somehow holds on, but this time SKillous is now transitioning into Skytoss. Fleet Beacon, second Stargate, 10% carriers are on the way. And because he cleaned up the first lurker army, I mean, he's fine. He's perfectly fine to transition. He's taking a 5th base. SKillous, he has an economic lead. He should be able to maintain it. His bases should be safe. There's nothing that Dark can really do. He's stuck at home licking his wounds. But we have a Nidus on the way. Dark, he knows that he needs to be active. He needs to be aggressive. That's exactly what he plans on being. Now, we saw this kind of backfire and work against Dark before. I'm sure this time is going to be a little bit more attentive when it comes to his army. Here we go. SKillous, meanwhile, building up a solid Immortal count. Nidus into the main base. We have the Nidus going into the main base at the same time. Hydra's pushing on the left-hand side. Gonna be threatening that base, but we do have cannons, a shield battery as well. But the Nidus finishes! The Nidus does finish, and we do outposition SKillous. We take control of the ramp. There's no getting into this base, not up this ramp. Not like this. Again, we're just getting a better concave. High Templar, they try to push in, but I mean, how do we push up? We can't. Storm gonna try to zone back some of these lurkers. But yeah, they do reposition. And SKillous, he has lost control of his main base. Everything in the main is going to be going down. The carriers as well get shut down. The fleet beacons, the stargates, and everything goes down. GG gets called. And Dark will take game number 1. GG. Going for the jugular, going for the main. And again, once Dark got control of that ramp, once he got all of his lurkers in position, there was no pushing up it. It was impossible. SKillous tried, and he died trying. GG. GG, well played. Whew, that was a roller coaster ride of emotions. That went one way and then the other. Initially, we'll let them know. Oh my god. As with that, we do have Dark taking a lead in the series, and everyone else is joining us. All the casters, we're all coming together, Papi. We have it steadfast. And Are we gonna do this? So we got Enki, we got Steadfast, we got Mapu. Everyone's coming together. And I may have someone joining me for the first time. I don't know how this is gonna go. We've never casted together before. Are we doing this? Oh, let's get.
And then I have to figure out how to make Discord listenable.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello. Can the people hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Don't hear light. That's not a good sign.
No! Papi! Senor Pollo! Are you there? Ah! I can hear you.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you. Why is that?
No!
Ah. Because I had clicked the mute button on you at some point. I don't know when that was.
Like, why can't I hear you? I muted you, but that can't be the problem. That's fine. What do you...
That can't be it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that could possibly have happened.
Oh my god. But for the first time, the duck and the chicken were uniting, Papi.
Oh my god. The world is finally healing.
Let's go. Let's go. Do you want to observe, or do you want me to? Who do we want to follow, like camera wise?
Oh, that's a good question. I think there's lots of people in this game.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know how to follow somebody specific. I feel like there's a button for that.
Oh, Control Shift.
I don't remember what it is.
Control Shift O. You can get a list.
Control Shift O. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Look at this production. You're a professional. I'll follow you. I think you're a better observer than I am.
Oh, okay. All right, Papi, take it away.
All right. Well, this is game 2 of the ZvP. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Hard Lead, we have Dragon Kites's Dark.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. Oh my god, and have you been? How has your journey here in ESL Open Cup Americas been, Chicken Man? Because I'm pretty sure we've been both like going through like different roads and different paths, and yeah, how's the tournament been so far?
Oh yeah, I mean it's always pretty great. I love when we get to the part of the tournament, the Americas tournament, when there's just absolutely no Americas players anymore.
It's great.
That's my favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
I was hoping Trigger might keep us going for a little while, but SKillous said no.
Smurge, Papi, Smurge. Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. I love the America's Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to wake up for Europe this morning and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, that's right.
It often goes that way.
Yeah, I'm not awake for Europe either. I just, but I guess for a different reason. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We were lucky enough to we followed Trigger from the start of the tournament, and he had a good run as well. He went to the ace match against SKillous in a PvP. It was chaotic. It all ended in the ace match where Trigger tried to all in SKillous, and then he realized that he was going all in against SKillous, who was going for a 2-base all in himself, and he was like, oh, and he raced back home, and then SKillous like chased him and overpowered him, and it was crazy. It was everything you wanted in a PvP. It was beautiful.
I love it. Can't get enough PvP. Let's what happened in game 1 of this series? I missed game 1.
Yeah, game 1 was on Oceanborn. SKillous did go for a very tech-heavy style. He delayed his Twilight Council, went for a Robo-Forge, and he was building up towards like an Immortal Archon composition, getting a 4th base, being very passive, very defensive. And Dark caught wind of it very like straight away, and he teched up the Hive and Lurkers very quickly. He's like, oh, you're not going to attack, so I'm just going to tech up heavily. I'm going to race the Hydra Lurker Viper, and things are looking dire for SKillous. And then Dark pushed out with half his lurkers and was morphing in like another 8 lurkers on top of himself. And SKillous found him, and he cleaned up he killed 18 lurkers in one fight. It was crazy. It was
damn.
Dark was caught with his pants completely down. Things are looking dire. Things looking really bad for Dark. He barely held on against the Immortal Army with Ling Hydra. No lurkers were left. He barely held. And then Dark threw down a Nidus, and went for a Hail Mary play, went for a Nidus into the main with like another 18 lurkers. He took control of the ramp, and that was game. SKillous could not get back into his main base. He died trying to push up the ramp, but he lost all of his immortals, all of his High Templar, everything died pushing up the ramp.
Oh, that's so sad after such a good start.
Yeah. It's really good.
But yeah, I mean, it's shocking to hear that Dark went for a quick hive. As we know, Dark, you know, he never likes to tech. Usually just stays on hatch tech the whole game. So crazy, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So it was a roller coaster ride of emotions for our two players. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and so far, pretty standard opener. You know, Stargate opener. SKillous going for his oracles, and he's getting his third base up and running.
Yeah, it's been pretty chill. SKillous hasn't put on any pressure at all. Just came from a couple of Max Pack series where like every single unit goes across the map and gets 4 drone kills at the start. So SKillous playing much more passively, just keeping everything at home defensively. And I was joking about Dark staying on hatch tech, but Dark he just is.
Yep.
He's just gonna do that right now.
Yeah, let's go. As you mentioned, no lair. The queens are waddling across the map. Mate, Dark, he's up in this series. He wants to make quick work of it. We are on hard lead, of course. We didn't get to talk about it, but very short rush distance by ground. This is the ideal map to go for a queen walk like this. We see this so often, and SKillous, he's in some trouble. He's setting up back at home, though.
Yeah, the stasis wards can be really, really useful here, but a lot of times it's just the lings run forward into that. What are these lings and this one roach just running the wrong way? If SKillous wasn't sure what he was up against, he certainly is now.
Yeah, he knows. And does he have enough, though? That's the question. We have a couple of sentries for force fields. The first stage trap is going to get triggered. But Dark, he doesn't even have to push into the natural. He can just go straight for the... he can ignore the third base and go straight for the natural.
Yeah, and that's the thing. SKillous doesn't have nearly as much defense up there. Now, of course, these queens can't transfuse, so they're a little bit less useful. But the Ravagers here just putting on so much pressure. Yeah. Does SKillous have enough? He's got the overcharge, but that's going to get taken down. Lings from the backside surrounding these units, and I feel like that's just going to be it. SKillous is running out of units. The probes are fighting.
Yeah, the boys are being pulled. They're doing their best here, but they got to go down. The third base has been broken, and we can pick and choose what we want. So we're going to be focusing on the third base for now. Dark just getting secure damage here, and there's almost nothing left for Trigger. For SKillous, my apologies. We have a couple of Slogans, a couple of Gateway units. My mind is still on Trigger, Papi. I'm hoping, I want to believe that there's an NA player left in the Americas Weekly.
But alas, it looks like we're going to be down to... you know, even less Texans here, as SKillous, famously from Texas, is going to get taken down by Dark. This looks like a 2-0 to me. And there it is. The GG.
GG, well played. Who isn't from Texas? I've been hearing this meme a lot. It's apparently everyone who we like.
I think Maru might not be from Texas.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Because Max Pax, he's from Texas, right? Am I crazy?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, thought so.
And of course, Cyril is.
Yeah,
from Texas.
Yeah, famously, yeah.
And then we have Clem. He's from Paris, Texas.
Is that a place in Texas? Is there a Paris?
There's a real city in Texas called Paris.
No shot.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're not very creative here in the U.S. We just like reuse other names, even like within the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
When I lived in Oregon, I would tell people I was from Albany, but there's an Albany, Oregon, and I had to clarify that I'm from Albany, New York, because there's like there's like 20 different Albanys in this country.
Yeah.
Springfield, if you say you're from Springfield, could be anywhere. Literally like any state. Madison. Means nothing. That means nothing.